Hi, welcome to Represent, where diverse voices come together to talk about how issues in the media affect our personal lives. I'm Arabella.
I'm Belgica.
And I'm Gabby. So ladies, it's pageant season. And you both know that I've done pageants and competed in the USA system. And so that's like the Super Bowl for us. But in my time of competing, what I did realize was I was always struggling with having a mentally fit body image. And so I felt like it's a really good time of year to bring that up, even with all the parties we have to go to and people starting their New Year's resolutions. I think it's a perfect topic for today.
I love it. Yeah, I actually have a special surprise for you, Gabby, for you. I want to roll this short little clip I found on the internet while I was stalking.
Okay.
Stalker.
I'm actually really
Let's see
scared
that.
to see this.
No, look
Okay.
at this. Look at her.
Oh my God.
Are you praying? Oh, that's so cute.
Are you praying?
You won.
I did
won.
win.
That's incredible.
That was a long time ago. So that was probably about that was probably like 3 years ago and 20 pounds ago.
Wow.
But for me, when I was competing, a really, really hard part for me was just being fine and feeling okay in my own skin. I was always trying to be smaller and always be fitter, and it wasn't always in the healthiest way. Like in those videos, I was probably like 117 pounds, and I'm 5'7", so that is absolutely out of the range for healthy. And I just didn't love who I was. I was always looking at the girl who was beating me or the girl who I was next to, and I always wanted to compare myself to her. And I'm finally in a healthier place now, but I wish girls knew way back when that it's okay to be the size you're supposed to be. You don't always have to be skinnier. You don't always have to not eat that meal. And I had a really unhealthy relationship with food as well.
And did you think that, do you think now that pageants aren't a good thing for women and girls to join?
I struggle with that question a lot because I owe a lot to pageants. I changed my career because of pageants. I am who I am today. I'm a journalist because of pageants. But I think the part about it that really breaks a lot of women is the fact that it is a beauty pageant, and you do have to be physically pleasing to the eye. And our standards today in America are just so out of whack with reality.
Yeah.
So even if a girl feels like she's perfect and she is perfect, we still, as a whole society, have this really terrible idea of what that looks like.
Yeah, like you tell them, like, yeah, you can be in this beauty pageant, but you need to
look
at this certain way. Like for me, I lost 50 pounds 2 years ago, and when I did that, at the beginning, it was kind of by accident. I just started running. I would still eat whatever I wanted, but then I had an opportunity to lose some weight and make some money off of it, and then I lost the weight, and I was like, oh, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna gain some weight back because I prefer looking curvy in clothing, you know? So, but then after I was at that weight, and then I realized, oh yeah, like all my casting calls and acting on like SF Casting backstage here in the Bay Area, it will say, okay, for this ad, we need a woman size 2 to 4, 4 to 6, you know? And I used to be a size 9 to 13. So it was like, I can't audition, so I have to stay at this size. And I actually developed like a weird relationship with food at that time when I lost weight, and like I was never happy with my body. I'm still not like completely happy with my body, but I'm like starting to understand like, okay, like you can't be that hard on yourself. Like you need to relax.
And the important thing to remember is that you only have one body, and a lot of people take for granted that it's working.
Yeah.
Your body's working. It's a machine.
Yeah.
And so you have to develop this relationship with food as if it's like food is fuel.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking at it that way. I was looking at it as like food is bad because all it is putting on the pounds. And have you ever dealt with that, A?
Well, for me, it's a little different because I love food. I mean, I have cooking shows, I chef all the time. And my family, being Filipino, we have this culture around coming together and eating together, and then we don't go to therapy, instead we just eat. And so I love food. I would rather, I mean, for me, it's really difficult for me to not eat. It's easier for me to not eat at all than to be healthy.
Right.
And so that's something that, when I hear what you're saying, for me, when I lost a lot of weight, I was either on Adderall or diet pills. So it's different. It was, that's terrible. I mean, it's close to like an addiction.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been there. I'm really excited about the guests we have on our show today, though, because I feel like they're going to give us more insight on how to have that mentally fit body image.
And different perspectives.
No matter what size you are. Because I think since we all come from different realms, we have a different idea of what perfection is and what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm bringing in my friend, Juanita Gonzalez, and she works full time. She's a mom of 2 kids. And then she started this entrepreneurial endeavor as an accountability fitness coach.
Nice.
And so she's helping other women remotely to get to their fitness goals. And I love watching her on Facebook. And then you also brought on your friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we were talking about today, I was like, a lot of these things are resonating with my best friend, who is amazing. And her name is Amy Marie, and she's a plus-size dancer and model. And she also just started a podcast called Coffee with a Side of Confidence, and she and Lexi, her friend, just talk about being confident no matter who you are, where you are in your life, what you look like, just having confidence in what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, that's the key, right? I mean, it's all about what's inside of you and how we feel about ourselves.
I know, and it's really hard because we just don't, as women in media, it's a requirement for us to look a certain way, and so I think we get a little over-consumed with that, and we forget that we have a bigger message than the way we look.
Yeah.
And I love doing this show with you guys because it teaches me a lot about what's on the inside as opposed to focusing on what's on the outside, and we're able to showcase that. I can't wait to meet our guests, but there's also something else that I'm really excited to tell our viewers about, and that's WeXL. And actually, Arabella is the founder of that, and it's a nonprofit organization. It helps produce this show. We have a video that we want to show you guys to introduce that.
WeXL is a 501c3 nonprofit that recruits, nurtures, and empowers diverse creative talent. We harness the power of media and community to help creatives carve productive career paths so that they may excel as purposeful influencers and global leaders who make this world a better place for all. In the first year of operation, the WeXL community grew through dedicated hard work and tender, loving care for the creative process. At times, it was exhausting. So why do this? We do this because of Maria, a Cal State LA student and successful YouTuber. After 5 years of spending countless hours producing videos for her channel, she asked herself,
can I use this time wiser? Not only do I need to work on school, but I also legit need to work for money. I need income. Not only that, but I want to help my parents out. But just know that if I'm not posting within the next few months, I'm busting my ass to get that degree. That doesn't mean that I don't want to be here doing this.
We do this because of Vijay, an immigrant from India. As a film student in San Francisco, he made an award-winning comedic short exemplifying the essence of American multiculturalism. We do this because of Caesar, a software developer in New York, who taught himself full-stack JavaScript programming while serving almost 8 years in prison for a crime he pleaded innocent to.
Because of my incarceration, my skills in drawing have grown, and it's grown has caused my patience as a person to grow.
We do this because diverse companies are 33% more likely to have financial returns above their national industry average.
At Microsoft in particular, we're really focused on diversity and inclusion as a way to strengthen our organization and to make Microsoft more competitive. So we know that diversity and inclusion is the right thing to do, but it also is the right thing to do for our business in terms of making us a stronger organization.
We do this because of the opportunities in front of us, where the creative industries combined contribute $2.25 trillion to the global economy. We do this because video content is projected to be 82% of online consumer traffic by 2021. And there's a film renaissance in Oakland. In this first year of operation, we've brought together mentors and emerging talent. We've also showcased, recommended, and connected the most active members of our community to creative leadership opportunities, some of which are paid work from our corporate partners. Every growth industry like tech and media needs diverse, hardworking, creative talent from innovators to builders to storytellers. Please join us in creative abundance. Welcome back. And now that you know a little bit more about WeXL, I'm pleased to have you meet one of our incredible emerging talent, Antonio Garo, who has been working with us this past year, our first year of operation. And I am just so excited to have you here. So Antonio does a lot of things. He's like super creative. And he is a filmmaker. So he studies film at SF State. Also, he's a novelist. He has self-published his own book, and it's called Spectrum of a Daydream. And I want to ask you, Antonio, about that book. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, of course. So this book stems from my childhood, like you said. I wrote it when I was about 12 and finished it around 17 years old. And I was a very quiet kid growing up, so writing became a way where I could express myself freely, and the worlds and the heroes that I'd imagine. I'd play pretend a lot as a kid. And so kind of taking that childhood wonder and the experiences that I had growing up, and even like while writing this book, I came out with Spectrum of a Daydream, and I consider it like a surreal take on the classic hero's journey. And so we follow Michael, who's often drifting in his own mind, and he struggles with what reality is and what reality isn't. And so his grandfather tells him that he's a part of this ancient group of people called the soloists, who nurture civilization and like carve reality itself. So that's some big shoes to fill for this little kid. And so there's this creature that comes along and is determined to make the whole world kind of like this real life nightmare. So Michael and his grandfather set forth to find the rest of the last remaining descendants of the soloists, who are a group of misfits just like Michael, who are struggling with what reality is and what reality isn't. And I'd say, if I had to put it in a genre, I'd say that it's a mixture of psychological horror, fantasy, and science fiction. It's very bizarre and very surreal. And I'd probably say that it plays a lot like a dream, in that, like, when you fall asleep at night, you have several dreams when you go to bed. I'd say, like, imagine if all those dreams were connected somehow. That's kind of how I would describe the narrative flow of it. And I think a lot of people will find it very intriguing, especially the imagery.
I love it, Antonio. Thank you so much. And I love that you're able to share that with us today, because Antonio needs to get connected, and that's what we do at WeXL. So if you know of a literary agent or just have some advice for Antonio, would like to mentor him, we got a toll-free number. You can call us at 833-939-5674, and that spells out WEXL.org. I'm so excited about it. But you could also text it too. So if you don't want to do a phone call thing, you can text us. Let us know if you have any information for us on how to get Antonio's book published by a publisher. Who knows? So the next thing that we're going to see is our third segment. It's we're going to have some great guests, and this next video is about Amy Marie's story. Super inspiring, so stay tuned for that.
I started in ballet as a tiny little ballerina. The Nutcracker every year is the annual Christmas performance, and the only costume that would fit me was a big foam horse with a hole cut out in the middle. When it came down to it, the second year and the third year and all the other dancers kept on being, I don't want to cry, they kept on getting other roles and being other parts in the Nutcracker, and there I was still being the fat girl in a horse costume. I kind of got the picture of what my future as a ballerina would be. I'm big, but I'm strong. I have fat and I have muscles and I have heart, and I think that that's really important.
So what we just saw was a video of the story of my amazing best friend, Amy Marie, who's a plus-size dancer and model. So she's one of our guests, and another one of our guests is over here, Juanita Gonzalez, who is a fitness coach. But since we just saw that video, why don't we go ahead and start talking about it. That video has been viewed on Facebook by over 2 million people, and Amy has received a lot of really positive feedback from it, but also some very nasty things. So we're women in media. Tell us a little bit about how being plus size affects the jobs you get, affects how people interact with you online and offline, because as an actress myself and model sometimes, I see castings and I'm like, oh, Amy would be perfect for it. But sometimes I'm like, are they going to accept a plus size model? Yeah. Is Amy going to be comfortable with this product, this whatever? So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Right, so I have been dancing my whole life since I was about 3 years old, and I've been modeling for 10 years on and off. But 10 years ago, plus size modeling wasn't a thing. There wasn't Ashley Grahams out in the world on the covers of Sports Illustrated. So I would still try and make my way out there and still show that I could be in front of the camera and be confident, because I've always gotten feedback that I'm photogenic, and as I would start to get cast in certain things, I was like, oh, I guess that I'm good at this or something. It's fun. I don't know, you know? And then I would go to group casting calls, and I would be the only plus size model there. And I would get looks from all the other girls, and like disgusted looks, and from photographers, disgusted looks. And it was just seeing that over and over again. And it's hard to see that. So over the years, I've tried to be consistent with my work, but it's hard because there's always not opportunities for plus size people.
Yeah, and coming kind of out of that, you have become like such a wonderful, powerful, confident woman. And
you're
started
beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God, looking at you talk right now, I'm just like, how could they look at you like that?
Thank you so much.
And so Amy's super inspirational. If you guys don't follow her on Instagram, she's always just putting really, sometimes it's like about me, like I'm telling her stuff, she's like helping everybody else out and like, you know, bringing, and I'm like, oh, thank you. She's like, I just did a post for you, and, you know, but she's super inspirational on there. And then she and Lexi just started a podcast about, it's called Coffee with a Side of Confidence. And you want to say a little bit about that? I'm so excited about it.
Yes, okay, so I am excited too. I have been talking with Lex about this for a while because I have had to build my confidence over the years. I've been forced to, if I want to still be who I am. And who doesn't want to be who they're supposed to be, right?
Yes.
So we decided to get together. She's a photographer that I've worked with before. We've held a workshop. I really wish you could have been there for
Amazing
that.
photos. You guys need to go look also at Lexi's photography.
Lex
Sorry, Lex's photography on Instagram, because they post the pictures and they're just really great.
Yeah, so her Instagram name is at Lex Marie Photography, and then I'm on Instagram at Amy_Marie_LA.
Okay.
And we just said, we don't know what we're doing. Yep. But we're just going to go into this podcast world confidently. Yeah. We're just going to figure it out. You know, we don't have a mic. We don't have an editing program. Like, let's just record this. So we recorded our first episode. We took pictures. We had a little bit of a breakdown about what the whole point of it was. And it's called Coffee with a Side of Confidence because both of us are just so fueled every day with our caffeine. Yeah. We are. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are. And we sit down and we talk about life when we get together, when we have our cup of coffee. And we're like, why aren't we doing this with other people and talking about these topics with other people? And I have literally had the conversations that I've talked about on the 2 episodes with Belhika and other people about just building your confidence when your confidence is down and broken. And I just feel like I'm at this point where it's just a natural next step for me to be in this realm of this podcast world and kind of talk and have this conversation with people.
Yeah, well, you're welcome on our show. Anytime you want to come on, because that's what we do here.
And I think I love that because, you know, a lot of this, the body image issues is not necessarily even about, you know, getting fit. It's a lot about inside of you
and your
letting
mental.
Yes.
Right.
And so, I mean, I want to ask Juanita because you work also on the external, but a lot of the work that I see Juanita's posts on Facebook, and actually we should show Juanita working out with her kids. I pointed this out. It's so cute.
I want to see that.
It'll roll. But like I want to know, I love that you're both empowering other people and other women in particular to be more confident in themselves. You do it in a way that is about, you have a lot of things going on, but you're able to coach women for their fitness accountability. Can you tell us more about that work that you
so I was always fit, I would say. And after having babies and just kind of really not being in a space, I had postpartum depression on my second kid. And I didn't talk about it too much because as women, we kind of have to be the all, we have to be.
You have to hold it together.
Right, we have to be the strong one. So.
And you don't look like you've had kids, by the way.
It's still working out. That's what I'm saying. So it all kind of came to a head when I went into a dressing room and I tried on some clothes which I thought I would fit into, and they didn't fit. I was like, wait a minute, like what is going on with me? Everybody has a certain body. Everyone has a certain way that they think of their body, and I was of the frame of I'm a fit person. I'm a athletic person. Why am I going up when I've always been this one number?
Okay.
And we do that to ourselves. We always compare ourselves to a number. We do it with the scale.
Yes.
We do it with our calories.
Yes.
We do it with everything, and we put so much emphasis on a number when it doesn't say anything about who we are. It doesn't say anything about what we're doing.
I haven't weighed myself and I don't even know how long.
We're walking around with it on our forehead.
right.
I feel like women walk around with their weight on their forehead.
Right,
Yeah.
and we're always comparing. Oh, well, I weighed this much today. I weigh, you know what, maybe if I do this, I'll weigh this much. And then it kind of goes into a yo-yo where we diet, New Year's is coming up. What are we all gonna do? New Year's resolutions, right? We're gonna go back into the gym and we're gonna try to lose that holiday weight. And then 3 months, 4 months down the road, we're right back where we started.
Yeah.
So I had to get out of that. So I found something that is sustainable. I don't look at food as comfort anymore. It's more fuel, like you were saying earlier. And it's more of the fact that I'm becoming okay with what I eat and how I eat it and whenever I want to eat it, but in portions. Like we as Americans are oversized with everything, right?
Right.
So in our group, we talk about portion control because it's not what you eat, it's how much of it you eat.
Right.
Have a piece of pizza if you want to, but don't have the whole pie. So
Don't tell me that.
So it's all about like the control, and if I know I can do it, and if I'm fighting with that, I know other women are that way too.
You are not alone.
Right, and we're all that way. So I found something I can sustain. We're not here about self-shame. We're here about empowering women to find what works for them and to stick with it, because I don't want to be like the yo-yo. I don't want this to be a yo-yo diet.
Right.
We need to get off that wheel. You know?
Right.
So when we work out, we find something that works for every person, because everyone starts off differently and every body is different. I might metabolize faster than you or you or you. You can eat whatever, and if I eat the same thing, I might blow
Again,
up.
don't tell me that. I'll do it. But like you both were touching on something really interesting, that everybody is different, and I think women always forget that for some reason.
Yes.
We're like, I want to be like her, and her, except for I want to be like me. So what are some unique tips that two of you think that you could give to women out there, no matter their shape, size, industry they work in, that they can follow, that can harness that unique energy for their mentality and their spirit, and just getting healthy?
So you were just hesitant to admit that you had postpartum depression, and for me was and for me that's my big thing, is that you have to own it. Like that's a tip, a trick. Like just own whatever you're feeling, whether you're having a good day and you're totally confident,
and it's okay to feel that,
right? Or whether you go home and the next day you don't want to get out of bed and you can't stop looking at your stomach rolls and your cellulite or whatever it is, or if you're in your head over and over, just own that. Okay.
So Amy, should we should we tell someone? Should we call someone? Should we just
Call your bestie.
like what should we do? Is that
Well, there's a couple of tricks that I do when I start to spiral out of control. I like to reach out to my friends, Belhika, one of them.
We're each other's check-in
Sounding
person,
board.
by the way.
Okay,
We
so
always
you-
check in with each
Yeah.
other. What we're
Okay.
doing to like better ourselves and just better our lives and be happier.
Right.
so
And
it's
also
good to
just-
have a check-in person?
Yes, it
and to
doesn't
own
have
it.
to be your friend. Some people, that's a therapist.
Yeah.
Some people, that's a mentor. You can also journal if you're too embarrassed or ashamed or hesitant to share with anyone, even your best friend or family members. You can write it out.
Yeah.
Just getting it out, and if you don't want to read it or see it again, you can burn it. You can message in a
true.
bottle,
That's
ship
so,
it
so
overseas.
helpful. Release.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
But just to acknowledge it in some way, whether it's a written or a verbal, or if you just record yourself with a recording and listen
Okay.
back to it, like, man, I was feeling that way. Let me be a little bit kinder on myself.
Because
Let me
okay.
be a little
there's
bit more
something-
understanding.
There's something about just it coming out of your mouth, you know, that makes you feel so good. That is you're just
Yeah.
like releasing it out of your body.
Yeah.
How
Right.
about you? What's your tip?
Well, since I've started my journey, I would call it, a couple years ago, I've been really comfortable with trying to get involved with more social media. So put it out there. Put it on Facebook. Put it on, Instagram. Because more than likely, there's way more women out there that are feeling exactly the
same
same way you
thing.
are.
What about if people are like me and trying to stay away from social media? Because I always compare myself to other people.
Yes.
That's like,
And
oh, that's person's
that's
married.
the worst thing you
Yeah.
can do.
So
because
Instagram,
you're
it
not the
makes me
same. No one's the same.
yeah.
I think that as women, it's really hard for us to not compare. And comparison
it is hard.
is a trap.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also just live in a world that allows, like, women are constantly being pit against each other.
Right.
Those fashion shows, it's like, who wore it better? They both did.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Right. You either have to be
Lifting
this
each
or
other
that.
up
Yeah.
instead of
so
tearing each other down.
I think that mentality is ingrained in a lot of American society of comparing women.
Right.
Because I don't often see men getting compared to each other.
Oh man.
It's true.
Yeah.
Just open
Very-
it
I
up.
opened
don't
another-
think they
I opened another box. I opened another box.
I don't think they do.
We'll have to bring you back on again.
Hey, I mean, anytime.
I
you
know. We
I
have
know.
to divide in
I'm
the
available.
circle.
Yeah. I'm here.
So if you guys are watching this online, be sure to subscribe to the WeXL channel. Please like our video and comment down below anything you want to tell us today.
And thank you so much.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thanks
much.
for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Juanita.
And thank you, co-hosts. Thank you, Midpen Studios. And if you're watching anywhere else, well, anywhere, you're probably watching this anywhere, you can always call and text us, toll-free number 833-939-5674 if you have possible guests or topics you want us to talk about.
Let us know.